Realistic attitudes are just a pure clear understanding, which is devoid of every action, choice, thinking, contemplation, which is after the end of the existence of the intellect, nature, in which that infinite subtle access have pure clear understanding, which is infinitely subtle in the depth of absolutely permanent stay. In every particle of the universe, and there are infinite subtle access, the only reason for the existence of the entire infinite vast material creation is the beginning of the real vision in the first step from the same infinite subtle access, which is impossible to understand from the point of view of the intellect, the ability to establish itself with the body intellect. With the attitude of the intellect is natural, which makes it possible to make it appear intelligent by contemplation, which is based only on the basis of imagination, which has no meaning in the real attitude, from the point of view of the intellect, from the point of view of the intellect to the vice from the intellect. In reality, there is no meaning, which ensures that the vastness of the intellect of creation, the vastness of the nature, pushes towards the ego, which is born from the intellect as only to be confused in an illusion, which my principles completely contradict, on the basis of my principles. But in the entire infinite vast material creation, the infinite universe is moving in the thunder, which is made up of temporary elements, which are regularly influenced and attracted by each other in many dimensions, which are completely in the same gravity. Spiritual science, meditation, from the point of view of intelligence only from the point of view of the intellect. One can seem to be intelligent, because the memory of the coding intelligence of the whole creation is present in the corpus. The intellect of creation is based on the same rules created by the same qualities. The nature of the body created from the temporary elements, the body created by the temporary elements is exempt from the intellect. Death is said to clarify. Death is also the last determined affirmation of the body, such as the awakened state. The dream state arising in sleep is also the dimension, to move from one dimension to another. The entire existence of the first dimension ends, as long as the second dimension appears. Let's do it. Before going from one to other ego, dim consciousness starts arising in the dimension itself, and in the whole unconscious itself finds itself established in the other dimension. Intellect is made up of very complex process of symmetrical elements, which till date no one in the whole creation didn't even understand himself, without being present in the body. Every human being is not different from all other species. Whatever he is doing day and night, he is trying enough for life only. He is trying enough for life, not even a little different. The reason why I got the whole of the best human body, is walking not with a negative conscience, which is not moving towards its own subtle axis, which is moving towards infinite vast material creation, which is infinitely complex. From the point of view of intelligence, being intelligent from the intellect is possible, to understand oneself. For this one has to end his own existence, to understand himself, the capable and skillful ability himself is the best. Every simple easy person, after understanding himself, there is nothing left to understand in the whole creation. It does not seem that has done something and has been left to do something, because it is understood, from which the ego is saved from ego. But the ego has not been deprived of the ego till today. No one has been deprived of the ego till today, since the creation of human beings has come into existence in the whole creation. The ego is born only when it is intelligent from the will of the will, just as my guru, being intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of his intellect, was influenced by the thought stream of his ideal ancestors, forgetting himself and walking in his rules. It was naturally clear to himself to be the best ideal of all. To do, one has to prove it by making many actions, which gives birth to a stream of thought based on imagination, which leads to the idea of celibacy, which inspires others to attract influences, a new idea of illusion. It is also so confusing that the number of unure and infinite multiplicity increase in the number of unure and wealth due to the appearance of oneself in every living being, and every living being in oneself is natural, which is used to be used according to the dominance of self-will. The word comes into existence. The reason for the confirmation of dominance in oneself is the consent of devotees like the crowd of blind believer fanatic sheep, who are clearly affected by the thought stream of the same Guru, due to being confused in the dominion of others, due to the delusion of the fortune makers of others. He considers himself capable of taking decisions, and establishes every word of his own as a direct proof, which does not need to be seen directly by logic facts, and in the charge of violating the word of the Guru to the interference of the other, from the sect of the ashram religion, organization, opinion, it is forever expelled forever, whose crowd of millions of blind believers, fanatical supporting sheep, is witnessed, walking from a negative conscience, not walking from a negative conscience, which is not towards its own subtle access, but is moving towards infinite vast material creation. One who is infinitely complex, being intelligent from the intellect is possible to understand himself. One has to end his own existence in order to understand himself. To understand himself, he himself is capable, and capable, is the best of all, every simple easy. The person, after understanding himself, nothing remains to understand in the whole creation. It does not seem that anything has been done and some has been left to do, because he has understood, from which the ego is saved from the ego, but the ego has not been deprived of the ego till today. Ever since the creation of the universe has come into existence in the universe. The reason for the ego is the only choice. The choice is only by the attitude of the intellect. It is necessary and easy to understand yourself, on the basis of my principles. The true point of view is my achievement, with my principles in all. Since then, since the creation of the human being has come into existence, no one has been able to do this in any time era. As I have understood myself in a moment, when I am not able to express my own simple, serious love, I can understand myself only. If the option of understanding came to the fore, then there was nothing left to understand in the whole universe. Apart from myself, there is no other word in reality, and there is no way to be something, from the point of view of intelligence, being intelligent from the intellect, being intelligent from the intellect and being a victim of only a hesitant ego. It happens, from the past to today, every person from the past, from whom no one has ever survived, then how could anyone understand himself? If someone had understood himself, he would have got a little description somewhere. History is a witness. After understanding himself, the symptoms of the ego with the ego assured, praise of any other word object creature is devoid of criticism. Death is certain but fear is free. Diet is needed. Food is needed. Food is always ready for the life of the beautiful moment of death. There is always consciousness, sleeplessness, only understood so the spontaneity is intact. It is not on the pain of the whole creation, it moves with its own understanding, physical creation, body, intellect, nature, being devoid of all temporary elements, it is alien in the body itself. Due to the real attitude, due to infinite subtle intact, time is beyond thinking, due to the factless, the memory of the intelligence of others is beyond the grip of the corpus, understanding the complete interpretation of any time era of the whole creation. One can do it. It has come. There is a real attitude to understand the whole creation alive, which means only the living body. In reality, it remains in the attitude after death. It is clear to itself, because the true attitude of every attitude has come. The second thing, the word object, is clear to the soul itself. In reality, there is no place for the reflection of the infinite micro-axis of itself, the permanent stagnation is infinite depth, and there is no reason to be something, without understanding oneself a little from each other species. They were not even different in any period. Whatever was or is there, it is only the instinct of complex smoky intellect, which ends with death, without understanding oneself, without being born. It is only dirty garbage filled in the intellect till death, whose there is absolutely no meaning for life, who is only for the fame of fame, reputation, fame, wealth, for serving many interests of a few, who have become intelligent with cunning crooks, clever intellect. A business opened as a openly running pretense drama block, which blinds faith, fanatizes foolishness, which pushes down even in the 21st century. Understand yourself without fairness, clarity, greetings, fairness, self-experience cannot come. Without understanding oneself, one cannot move away from the point of view of intelligence, even if one tries crores of efforts by making efforts, which is only blind faith, fanaticism, stupidity, foolishness it shows, and no decision can prove to be fairly clear. Second, every word object is just an illusion. My conclusion is of contemplation of moment by moment of life. It is a struggle for selfishness and fairness from myself. I have seen the attraction of all the best gurus of the whole creation, found only to serve only the interests of the self. There is a consultation for giving. Body, mind and wealth are the joy of the pure Buddha in the revered Lao. The Guru is found unknown about himself. After 35 years, only then the fertile option to understand himself is the persuasion. Only a moment is enough to understand himself. There is a struggle. The other is to understand that the ages of the ages a few years. It has become such that it is my own vision, where the place of reflection of my infinite micro-axis is not happy, and not the press of being something, not only for a business. There is struggle. Faith is faith. Love is only words, can do with genes. Devotion is the only struggle for the fulfillment of devotion. Devotion, the instruments of inviting charity, fame, wealth, are only the struggle for fulfillment of the beg. From the past till now no one has been able to understand himself. Then there are taxes, there are contacts. Being intelligent with the intellect, he is happy to establish the important ego, the thoughts of science, the thoughts of the science. The thoughts of the science are important egoisms. Existence is not established, existence is over, but on the basis of my principles. Blind faith, fanaticism, bigotry is not only a big dirty cheek, but a big stigma in the name of humanity. If you ask to choose one in blind faith and atheist, then I choose an atheist. I will like it, because the mental balance of the believer imitates someone else's message, while there are only atheists who consider every other word object creature to be only confusing. Its point of view and ideology is clear, while the believer does not believe in himself. If the other Lord is surprised on the word Guru, one who does not have faith in himself, fear of fear always remains in him. If there is no trust in himself, then he cannot have faith in others. If he does not trust, lies pretend to lie. Drama illusion is the origin of hypocrisy. Understand yourself without the talk of explaining the protection of devotion to anyone else. Only the talk of self and lies with crores of others. Pretense of delusion, urging others not to betray others. Those who are deceiving crores of people themselves, by throwing only temporary words in the garland, service of body, mind and wealth from millions of simple easy people. Lao, faith, fame, reputation, fame, wealth absolutely for beg, which is possible only by being intelligent from the point of view of all the intellect, smart devil clever artist, who is millions of times smarter than a simple intuitive person. My shame only changes the attitude. Normal personality intelligence attractively influenced by different ideology in the view of different ideology agrees. Being moving in the thunder in many dimensions formed by temporary elements in infinite vast material creation, whereas by understanding oneself, the permanent stay in the realistic point of view is in infinite subtlety of the reflection of the reality access in infinite subtlety. There is no place and there is no meaning of being something. After understanding oneself, there is nothing left to understand in the whole universe. After understanding oneself, it does not seem that anything has been done or something is left to do in the whole universe. This is the main reason, which is the main reason which one is saved from the ego. And the determination to do anything, the option of doing anything, the choice of the undertaking, the combination of efforts cannot escape the ego from the ego. The effort of knowledge, science, meditation, devotion, power, the power of the Guru, the second word is also the object creature, which my principles violate, because all these are violated. To confuse the simple instincts, attract people to confuse, prove to be only to lay the web of conspiracies, blunt intellect is proved to be self-destructive. The number of blind believer fanatics of fanatic devotees starts from millions to trillions, with simple, intuitive qualities. How to make people blind believer fanatical thinking, how to weave the fabric of conspiracies. Devils are intelligent with smart intelligence, few people who are smarter than common personalities. Only fame, reputation, fame, reputation, fame, wealth, 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 wealth for the bag. Crows are robbed mentally by fooling them. Faith, faith, love, devotion, devotion, in the name of charity, by putting fear of Guru deeds, while in the realistic point of view, on the basis of my principles, which is clear. Definitely the book is clearly visible. It happens by nature, which no one can change the word of the name of Rab Guru. If anyone can unite the sky, if someone claims to change, then he can contact me. Then why do you do it by falsely eliciting the protection of liberation of simple people by making false illusions? It is not a deception to bind the rules of faith by putting a delicate body of faith, faith in the tradition, why logic facts, facts, why violation of the principles of physics, attract blind faith fanaticism by attracting UPSC reputations. What if not to give, instead of giving clarity to the Guru, instead of giving clarity to the Guru, expelling the word Guru as a violation of the word, after 35 years, it is not a fault, throwing a mentally handicapped tax by looting everything, the priceless gems are destroying the breath time. K. Self-reputation, fame, 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 wealth, by making millions of fools for wealth, looting your body and mind, after being a blunt intellect, it is not a fault, to use it like bonded laborers, but was given only for eating entertainment, only death after this false assurance of false liberation. Thousands of people must have died in the session. Tell me one who has got salvation. If you are the giver of liberation, then why salvation only after death? Why not alive? Why not live? Tell only one among 20 lakh blind believers who made them like you in the session here. There is a difference of sky in the words of Kani. You are establishing your existence as a matter of existence. When one has to cease to understand yourself, your fame, reputation, fame, reputation, fame, fame, Daulat beg no. It is a pity that this statement, the thing which I have is nowhere else in the universe, one who cannot understand himself can only pretend to be a business of understanding others. Who understands himself, he understands himself by criticizing the praise of any other. It cannot be done, because in reality there is no place for the reflection of one's own infinite subtle access and there is no way to be something, only permanent stagnation is infinite depth. Satisfaction is clear that nothing remains to fulfill the main purpose of the human body. It has been given, the important ego of your own dominance, the existence of the Supreme Personality of God Param Purush, the immortal world of God, all that was calculated on the basis of the imagination of the memory of the personality, who became intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of your intellect, whose intoxication was the victim of the important ego of intoxication, the point of view of intelligence, it is possible to be wiser than intellect. My equation only changes the attitude. Even the ego Brasim is represented by the intellect from the point of view of intelligence only from the point of view of the intellect. In the real attitude which has no meaning, the nature created by the temporary element is the nature created by the temporary element. From the point of view of the creation, there was a religious thought stream, which was only an important ego illusion. It was nothing in my body. I understood it only by coming into the realistic point of view. Otherwise, I also understood from the point of view of religious ideology, from the point of view of the common personality, from the point of view of the intellect itself. He was a supporter, but he believed in believing in deep contemplation. The blind believer was not a fanatic at all. In one hope, the best teacher could understand the best teacher for 35 years, and after deciding everything, my simple easy feeling, faith, 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 did not understand the law. We had also been fired on the complaint of his special worker without explanation from me, despite having infinite serious law. When only the best guru could not understand the simple easy person, then only the option of understanding himself came to the fore. Then only I understood myself for a moment. I found nothing left in the whole universe to understand. At the same time, in the absolutely accurate approach forever, found the infinite subtle access of reality in the infinite subtle depth of reality. Here there is no place even of his reflection, and there is no point of being something, only understood, did I find something. No, they are lost, whose main source of origin in the real is only thought, which does not have a permanent existence. When the nature created by temporary elements does not exist permanently of the universe, then how can the object originating from them be of the word soul? Fame or owls, by fooling themselves or others to serve their entire interests, can prove to be good for fame, reputation, fame, wealth, but my principles completely deny, when the easy simple easy person is absolutely to understand himself. A capable skillful person is the best, then the intervention of the other is the instruction. Why help, apart from yourself? It is only to serve every interest. When one has to move away from every attitude of the memory fund of one's own intellect, then why any other kinds of illusion? Tantra, mantra, yantra, rab, guru, parmarth, bhakti, dhyan, yoga, sadhana. There is no need for hypocrisy like yoga practice at all. My principles completely oppose all these, because faith, 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 faith. Easy people, in the guise of faith, fear is the evil practice of robbing fear by putting fear, which is only for fame, reputation, fame, daulat beg. Please read carefully and make me aware of my crores of mistakes, sir. To ignore my own mistakes, that is the attitude of a human being. You are very high. I do not have to listen to your praise. Tell me in detail, understand that breath is only my precious personal heritage. I consider it better to use enough for myself. From the point of view of intellect, every person is present in crores of dimensions, in wave and direct form. But in reality, there is no dimension, on the basis of my principles. It is in the attitude itself. One can express everything by being wise with intelligence, but can never understand himself, the whole infinite vast material creation, and establishes itself till death, but to understand myself, the intellect is in nature. The existence of the universe has to be ended. After understanding itself, one can never come back to the common personality, because I have ended my own existence, presuming that the living can remain in the state of death after my principles. On the basis, only death is awaited. The fear of death is not fear. The truth is that death is not certain. Understanding yourself to understand birth and death is a direct moment. Death is definitely a very beautiful moment, whose senses are in the senses. It is necessary to wait. There is no festival like death in the whole creation. Desire, priceless gems destroy the excitement of death. So understanding myself, I like to live in the real point of view. One has to move away from every instinct of the fund. Every moment the beautiful precious gems of death stay waiting for the moment. Every moment, I do not sleep even for a moment. It has happened. The coding is present in the memory of the intellect of every living being. No one can take even a single breath from himself, unless the mechanism of nature allows. After understanding himself, nothing remains to understand in the whole universe. The infinite subtle axes are in the axis. Time becomes thoughtless. There is no place for the reflection of the infinite subtle axis in reality, and there is no way to be something. I am only sharing my experience. It is not zero. Zero is from the point of view of intelligence. 35 years ago, I had felt the perceived experience. It was important Brahma, which was only from the point of view of intellect. From the point of view of intelligence, being intelligent from the intellect and becomes the important ego of lordship. In itself, all creation and every particle in itself gets confused in the presence of itself. In the presence of itself. Those who are based only on the basis of their own imagination, but the intellect is infinitely complex, from which one cannot understand any undertaking combination of effort. The personalities of the past have also done everything by being intelligent with intelligence. Could not understand myself, tried crores of efforts, but got entangled in fame, reputation, fame, wealth. Real attitude is only my achievement, since the creation of human beings in the whole creation, since then till now, since the creation of human beings has come into existence in the whole creation. It is so easy to live in reality forever from point of view that one cannot even imagine, and essentially, understand yourself without understanding yourself in a little different from all other species. The main meaning of getting a human body is to understand only oneself. The rest of the food, sleep, sexual activity, fear, every living being is doing it, except humans. Every species of all creation is following the principles of nature. In only one person is the important ego of each action, my principles only. Inspire to understand. To rob people in public by tempting people simple easy for the bag. Every person is deceiving himself, so he himself is away from himself for millions of ages from births. Guru Bhave human existence as well as income still till today no one could understand himself. History is a witness. If anyone has found or understood the Lord, then today there is no need to find the Lord. The only reason for being supreme is that by ending one's own existence and coming into a realistic approach from the point of view of intelligence. Living forever and living in reality forever, living the rest of life in reality, and fear of death is not fear of death, absolutely every moment to welcome death. Be prepared from, because there can be no festival like death in the whole creation. If you die in all your senses, understanding yourself, the word death does not exist in fear. In fear, death is only the last dimension of being intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of intelligence, which does not exist in reality. Infinite depth in permanent stay, completeness in perfection, clarity, fairness, pleasure is an auspicious time to be satisfied with satisfaction in the infinite subtle axis of reality, which was waited for vehemently, even in the realistic point of view. The attitude of the intellect with the body has to react or analyze clearly in the reality of the ideology of the here, whose reality has to be reacted or analyzed. I have no acumen, because in reality the form is also without the five elements. No one can meditate on my form even for a moment in the whole creation, even if I sit in front of me for 100 years, until I do not. All and words are also devoid of air, which is impossible to store in the collection of memory of temporary intelligence. No one can remember me in the whole universe. No one can ever understand me, even if everything is done on its own millions of times. Why should I tell the one who understood me? He becomes completely free forever with a realistic attitude in reality at the same moment. It represents itself in reality. To understand itself, there is no need for clarity of words, visual examples. To understand itself, there is no need for clarity. Myself excellence arises from within itself. Every simple, easy person to understand himself is the best capable, and capable, when one has to deviate from every attitude of the memory of his own intelligence. Then the other's intervention is not needed. It is a devil who has found the shortcomings of every simple people, will be intelligent with vicious crooked intellect, who will be greedy of fame, reputation, wealth, whose word proof is the delicate body of the rules of tradition. If you are tied in, life is your breath, death belongs to you, death is definitely yours, you will leave with you in all life, your body is also decisive intellect, then the second corner of mother was born red, who will support you, only your business is limited to your business. Whose statement is limited only to saying, it is not a matter for them to do, only one out of lakhs tell me, who has taken someone to hell, then the rest of the matter is far away, because no one can go alive, cannot come and tell, this is what by taking great advantage of the thing, the devil is running a business with intelligent master Bhave. The small creatures of every carnivorous species of the whole creation have been prepared as food of another big creature. Only human species is a species which from the point of view of intelligence is religion. Under the spiritual guise of a religious organization, by becoming wise from the devil's intellect, by becoming a guru, by wearing a false cloak of the believer, ever since a person has come into existence, he has been making his food. A man of a beggar's attitude is using this experiment. During a short period of time, fame and reputation become full of fame, daulat beg. Within the obsessed believer mentality, there is only a large carnivorous creature who is moving towards the downfall of his species by his own will, who is intelligent with intelligence and simple easy. No one can understand the woven web of the master babbers who were woven from the past. The small creatures of every carnivorous species of the whole universe were prepared as food of another big creature from the point of view of their intellect. It is only human species that from the point of view of intelligence, under the spiritual guise of religion organization, by becoming intelligent from the devil's intellect, becoming a guru, wearing the false cloak of the believer, by wearing the false cloak of the believer, ever since a person has come into existence, eat his food. Making a beggar's attitude, a person of a beggar, by using this experiment, fame and reputation becomes full of fame, wealth, only within the obsessed believer mentality, there is a very big carnivorous creature who is of his own free will. He is moving towards the decline of his species, who has been hunting for centuries by imposing his ideology by being intelligent with intelligence, who is slowly drinking the blood of crores of people, is often eating the right, and you are urging the person not to eat the right often. It is, understand yourself, without only a business from the past, the evil practice of blind faith is promoting fanaticism, only religion, blind faith, blind beliefs, fanaticism, in genes, humanity in genes at all. There is no one who is destroying humanity every day, starting from every house and reaching the nation, the basis of which is only religion organization. Humanity and natural law are only a human being who does not like the rest of the species and creatures. Except, there is no other species of dreaded human beings like human beings, in all the species of all creation, which did not get the desired jealous gratification in any period, except all the other species. All the remaining species are hunting or dieting only for the hunger of the stomach. 6. But by pretending to be the heads of the religious organization of human race, the heads of the organization are engaged day and night only for the fulfillment of their desires, making simple instincts fanatics. They use and rob them a lot, that they make blind believers fanatics, that they don't even let them walk. Ever since the creation of the universe has come into existence, since then till now I am the only Surma, who understands myself and is with my real achievement, the rest of the other human beings were also only a burden on the universe and are the other or the other. It is not different from every species, who is living only in diet, sleep, sexual activity and fear. To understand himself, one has to end his existence. Do not establish himself. Understand yourself. Organization, devotion, meditation, knowledge, science, faith, belief, love, Paramarth. There is no work of pretenses like Paramarth. There is no work of Guru's children, yet how unshakable their self-confidence is, how firm their self-confidence is, only the souls help in attracting them by punishment. Only blind believers are in love with increasing the crowd of sheep, without understanding themselves. They are not different from other species, but the madness of imposing their ideology on others speaks madly to impose their ideology. Guru's word is only blind faith. Fanaticism compels mental health to be confused, recognizes not to understand and transcend oneself, which proves the fanaticism of the disciple. Blind faith, the attitude of intellect, only proves to be meaningful and gives importance to living and understanding life well, whereas reality only gives importance to death. Blind faith fanaticism is promoted by masters, whose temporary words are only direct proof, in which logic facts do not exist, which also detracts deep contemplation, which also breaks down deep contemplation. Which blind faith inspires fanaticism, pushes into the stress of mental health, pushes the circumference. To understand oneself, it is necessary to be free from mental health stress and freedom. The garbage lying in the memory fund of the intellect has to come out, whereas भरते हैं सिर्फ अपने हित साधने हेतु प्रसिद्धि प्रतिष्ठा शोहरत दौलत बेग के लिए, जो सिर्फ एक व्यवसाय धंधा है सरेआम चलने वाला ढोंग ड्रामा भ्रम पाखंड के साथ, रब गुरु परमार्थ भक्ति भाव प्रेम श्रद्धा आस्था विश्वास ध्यान के नाम पर, जिस my principles contradict this. Which inspires only to attract influence of simple people. I have gone through each aspect very seriously, understanding that I am in the real axis in reality. Only then there is no place for the reflection of that infinite subtle axis here, and there is no presumption to be something. Only if you have understood, only then, only if you have understood, then only the ego is saved from the ego. I am. Vigyan, vision, science, meditation, Bhakti Shakti Prabhatva is also an important ego of celibacy, which is on being intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of the intellect. The Guru's word of the Guru is the direct evidence of the Guru's words. Only blind faith, fanaticism, compels mental health to be confused. Do not understand and master yourself. Acknowledges that the disciple's fanaticism proves the blind faith. The attitude of intellect proves to be worthwhile only in living and understanding life well, whereas reality only gives importance to death. Blind faith fanaticism is promoted by Guru Bhavs, whose temporary words are direct evidence, in which logic facts doctrine does not exist, which also breaks down deep contemplation, which blind faith fanaticism deluges in mental health stress, and pushes. To understand oneself, it is necessary to be free from mental health stress and be free. The garbage lying in the memory fund of intellect has to be removed, while the Guru Bhave fills the garbage, only to serve his own interests, fame, reputation, daulat beg for, which is just a business. Publicly running pretense drama with illusion hypocrisy. The existence of an infinite vast physical creation is only by the intellect. After death everything ends. The last dimension is death. In the point of view of intellect, many dimensions are the stream of thought. Physical creation is based on the mechanism of many nature's rules of instruments. Thinking of thinking, even thinking of it, only for a session 1,000 years ago, in the memory of the human being, which was possible only with the passing of a long session of a possibility. Whatever happens in every area of the physical creation with the word soul, all of them are with many reasons. Happens, the memory of the intellect of every event happening in the whole creation is in the memory fund. Nothing happens other than the super mechanism of nature, more time is due to corrosive possibility in balancing the common nature with intelligence when intelligent. Why do the creators of infinite material creation understand themselves, forgetting their own status? Imagination arises. By ego, they establish sovereignty in themselves, which is only a mental tension, which is only a mental tension, which is a word of proof. They give priority. The laws of nature ignore the fact logic. If there is something like this, then the matter of bringing the rest of the universe by making changes contrary to nature in itself is far away. By making the simple, intuitive people attracted a fool of fame, reputation, it is only for those who are more intelligent than the trillions of common man, the vicious crooks of intelligent intellect. Only those who consider the whole creation as their own origin, do not know the meaning of the Brahmasmi and understands himself the introduction of Sahaj as more than a hermit. Those who have the influence of dominance themselves only imitate and analyze the texts described by the personalities of the past in the shell, on the basis of their own imagination, but there is no achievement of oneself. Those who talk of folk param power do not even have access to hell. If they are, then why are they not able to live normal life in body form? Why diseases keep falling from disasters? For this reason too many stories were fabricated on the basis of imagination themselves wisely to fool the common man. The people of the past, being intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of the past, were intelligent from the intellect. Bhave spokespersons can run the rules Maryada tradition over time, so mainly the praise and protection of the Guru has been given, whose temporary words are only direct evidence, in which the principles of logic, facts, principles do not even exist, which deeply contemplates deep contemplation. It does. The blind faith that pushes the fanaticism towards mental health circumference. It is necessary to have mental freedom to understand oneself. The garbage lying in the memory fund of the intellect has to be removed, whereas the Guru Bhave fills the garbage, only his own fame for interest of fame which inspires to attract influences only to simple intuitive people. One cannot miss any chance of insulting others. The qualities of others, equal to others, are involved in the nature of man. He has mastered in creating thousands of stories to hide one of his lies, in which a swan feels himself alone in them, because of his loneliness. All Vogler wants an explanation of the same swan that he is also a Vogla, while all Voglo also knows clearly that this is a swan, only by freaking him out. Want to hear from his mouth. It is clear to those who have been intelligent from intellect from the point of view that such things are not even mentioned in the textbooks of the past, absolutely unique things. Because of their important ego, they do it to maintain their own importance. I am, from the point of view of intellect, being wise from the intellect, I am busy only for life, in enough life. What am I myself? I cannot think for just a moment. Enough is far away in life. In reality, for a moment of death, the moment is welcomed from the heart, whereas from the point of view of the intellect, even the last moment is busy in the supply of temporary desire. When only the temporary elements in the senses are only safe throughout life, then the permanent stay, the depth is priceless. After death, you will be worried about the infinite subtle access by losing your senses, time and breath, when the time of remorse will not be found. Only one option is evident at a time, for seriousness or in reality or in many dimensions. The attitude of the intellect with many ideology, which is inconsolable, it is full of complex process. What someone said, I do not know what I understood in reality. I am an attempt to tell all. I am a philosophical scientist, not supernatural righteous at all. It takes a lot of anger to become all this, which it is not at all. Whatever it is to be based on it, understanding it, I have to keep a memory fund of the intellect. I do not even remember an earlier verse scene. I have to choose the words along with writing. I have to choose the words. Understand myself, it is such that no one can give any other explanation. To understand myself, when one has to move away from every instinct of the memory fund of his own intelligence, then the intervention of the other is not the point of help. I do not think that I have done anything so much. It is necessary that I have taught and understood myself. To understand myself, every simple intuitive person himself is capable, skilled, capable, very simple and indistinguishable. Without understanding himself, every person of every human body is they are not at all different from all other species. There is no need for clarity of word visual speech to understand themselves. All these need only to explain to others. From the point of view of intellect, I am in a real point of view. Yes, you must have heard the vision of the intellect for the first time in your life. I feel from your words that you are pushing me again in the point of view of the intellect, or do not want to believe that one can even come out of the point of view of intelligence. It is because in the last no one could do this in any time era, or you are not able to accept your conscience of my achievements. Jealousy is just that there is no one better than me. This is the nature of the intellect. Reality is an approach which is completely opposite from the point of view of the intellect, in which there is no ideology, because the memory of the intelligence is devoid of every instinct of the corpus, in which there is no option of resolution, which is the personality of the common man. 60,000 thoughts per day as a choice option. They keep on rising, which is due to the movement of the universe in many dimensions. In reality, from the point of view of the whole creation intelligence, from the point of view of the wise, from the intellect to the attitude and analysis with many ideologies, the ego Brahman is also an attempt to react and analyze it. One can seem to be intelligent from the point of view, undoubtedly, which is also show that this is also the only illusion, to see itself present in every particle of the whole creation and the whole creation. Parm Satta Rab Guru Shishya Parmarth only from the point of view of the wicked, the devil wishes crook, the crook, intelligent with the intellect, is a business of a few people. It is only for the bag, which my principles contradict absolutely, in reality which has no meaning forever, is represented by intelligence, which is based only on imagination. From the point of view of intellect, I am in a realistic approach. It is clear to me, you will not at all. Maybe you must have heard the words approach to the word for the first time in life. From your words, I feel that you are pushing me again in the point of view of the intellect, or do not want to believe that one can even come out of the point of view of intelligence, because the past I could not do this in any period of time, or you are not able to accept my achievement, because of jealousy. Because of jealousy, there is no one better than me. This is the nature of the intellect. Even after understanding the highest self, the highest of all, is the highest of all. I am more simple than a common personality, far away from the ego, because only I have understood. My guru did a lot. Responded to the Jibeb's better, the best of his supreme master, the best celibate, dear disciple of all, the best of the best soldiers for the service of patriotism, the best teacher of 20 lakhs of fellow disciples, because of the millions of qualities of this all excellence, because of the millions of qualities of this all excellence. The world of fantasies far away from myself has been lost in the immortal world. The supreme Param Purusha, who has understood in reality, is trillions of times higher than what I have understood in reality. If you understand yourself, then nothing remains to be found, because after understanding oneself, in reality, infinite subtle depth in permanent stagnation does not even have a place for the reflection of one's own infinite subtle access, and there is no way to be something, then who is praised by the glory of praise and why? Who is continuously doing the devotional glory for the sessions for years? Kabir Sahib or Param Purush, on establishing himself, the infinite vastness moves towards the vastness of the material creation, whereas, to understand himself, one has to end the existence of his own intellect. From the point of view of the intellect, the existence of oneself by being intelligent from the intellect has to be done. One has to be established. for which the word visual speech, imagination, imagination, choice, thinking, 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 time, deep thinking, while for realistic attitude, absolutely the existence of the intellect has to be ended, only by understanding the need for clarity of words, visual speech, to understand oneself, the need for clarity of words. Not only is it, without understanding fairness, loyalty, satisfaction, clarity, oneself, infinite subtle inseparability of oneself cannot come in reality, because in the point of view of the intellect, the main interest is always created by the tendency of interest, from the point of view of intellect from the intellect. On being wise, there is a creation present in the memory of the infinite imaginary worlds, in which it is possible to be confused. Here, even in the presence of self-lupation, there is confusion in the ego Brahmashmi itself, here itself the whole creation of the whole creation. It seems in the form of the Creator, in Himself all creation and in all creation itself is lost in its own illusion, in reality which my principles oppose, in reality, the one who himself gets confused, the same Brahma Bash also gives the whole creation to the whole creation. He keeps on trying to push, and succeeds too, because every person is like him in the attitude of the intellect, so it does not take long to understand his words, only the stream of thought has to be confirmed, which is in the whole creation. Only with the example of the past, clarity is given with the examples of the past, which is described, the truth is my achievement in all the infinite vast material creation. I could not do what I have done in the age of Kali Yuga, in the dark age of which the Supreme Guru, whose main statement was that, what I have is not anywhere else in the universe, and the second statement was, Ayub Rahasya is the most wonderful wonder in the universe. Who am I? By which they are completely unfamiliar, because after understanding themselves, nothing remains to be understood in the whole universe. In reality, there is no place for the reflection of one's own infinite subtle access in reality, and there is no way to be something, then there is no presumption to be of praise. Who cares and why? Like the first day, even after 35 years, why praise the Param Purush Amar Lok Kabir? From a real point of view, the analysis of the attitude of the intellect is done by the hunter, the master disciple, only from the point of view of the intelligence, apart from the point of view, apart from oneself, the hunter or the disciple can be easy, because the devil smart artist, the vicious clever artist of the intelligent person with the wicked intellect. Such is the attitude itself, it is with the acceptance of all intelligence itself, some such actions are determined from which it is possible to be possible, from which it is possible to get out, which is only the nature of the intellect, and others, millions of crores, the belief of simple and easy people who make the coincidence, and one's own important ego gets enlarged. The most coincidence is that the logic facts described in the millions of texts of the past would have been clearly cleared from the fictional stories. It is because the traditional things that the personalities of the past have done regularly, all that is done from the point of view of intelligence, then there is no need to hit the head much. The audience is easy, who likes to accept only the direct evidence of the word. We consider it better than taking more hassle, in which thinking gives relief, rules and traditions get establishment, only words need to be presented to them by making them attracted, who are already experts in it, so that a business can run a business. Only fame prestige gets entangled in fame, wealth, and far from understanding oneself, they forget humanity, they do everything that no one can even imagine, because to prove him clearly, a crowd of crows of sheep is blind believer, who himself is a fanatic, who himself they have been prepared by him, which is part of his own ideology, to impress only that which means only to attain liberation without doing anything, and the goal of the Guru is only of fame, reputation, Daulat Beg, which my principles completely oppose. Whatever was the time to earn, he gave crores by earning at the feet of the Guru. Now after 35 years, At the age of Tarpan, how can he take care of himself and his daughter if she is mentally handicapped after losing her intelligence? While in the first phase of the madman, the Guru gave the title of madman. It was, if after 35 years, if one had to leave the ashram from the ashram on the complaints of others with the allegations of humiliation, then why at least those who forgot their words of giving 1 crore out of crores of rupees, when 4 punches from me in the shop of my brother's ashram, it was said in front of him, that son, all the money you have given is not on your feet. You have given it in your hand. You have the right to take back. Did not donate, whenever you need 1 crore. Speak only once, please think a little, please think a little, if you remember if the conscience is alive, or has been won only for taking the Guru's disguise, it has been true that the beginning is used only for preaching, who knows better than you, your discourses are better than you. Limited, which I write on all social media, which is absolutely true, which is learned only from you, I do not have any source of feeding, even for a moment for a diet of body nutrition to me and my daughter Dhikat came at that very moment, both of us will prepare the body, whose basis will be only my Guru, because I do not have the courage to take back the money given, it is a far cry to ask, who cannot ask for grace from his own Guru, everything else is a far-fetched thing. Others I have also made a lot of allegations by my own Guru of taking money from him. On the complaints of my special worker, I know that many of your special workers are working in the main post at a high position in the government, who will in any way get you to prove your intervention cleanly, because all of them have already been cleared. The moments are curious to serve continuously, because I have ended my own existence that I cannot come back to the common personality, I cannot even think for my own body even for a moment, the Guru opened many sources of permanent wealth with temporary elements. I have found the infinite subtle access in myself, in infinite depth, when I was capable of wealth, used to dedicate crores of rupees to the Guru, when I am empty in the body worldly. First of all the Guru stole my eyes from me, who saw Parmarth Guru, spiritual Param Purush, immortal Lok, no common man can even think like this, as my own Guru has done to me, the Guru who decorates only the temporary soil, who decorates the importance of the temporary soil, inside whom there is no such thing as human being. The rest of the inner world, so it is a far cry. We ignore the simple person, the special importance of some special worker can be in the point of view of the intellect itself, apart from himself, every object of the word is called the attitude of the intellect to realize the presence of the word creature, according to the time environment itself. Apart from this, the combination of more thinking thoughts is called the stream of thoughts. The tendency of intellect is very complex. From the point of view of intelligence, deep thinking from the intellect, being wiser than contemplation, the vastness of the infinite vast material world moves towards the vastness of the universe, in which many dimensions one can see the infinite universes created by temporary elements moving in the sky, whose coding is inherent in the memory of the intellect, infinitely subtly. In each there are also the ability of the intellect of his own willing choice. It is the cause of the ego, which by making the lordship appear enough in oneself, gets confused in the illusion of the ego Brahman, which has no meaning in reality. Every simple easy person himself is capable, 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 capable and capable, is the best. For, to understand oneself, one has to completely deviate from each instinct of the memory of one's own intelligence, then the other's intervention instructions are not the only way to help, because apart from oneself, everything else is the object word, the soul is only an entanglement. Lie is an illusion, on the basis of my principles, which in reality has no meaning. In reality is an attitude which is completely opposite from the point of view of the intellect, which is the vision of the living after ending the existence of the intellect. the creation of the universe, which is the vision of death after death, which is a definite death. It is like reality itself, in which fairness, loyalty, clarity, infinite, subtle, intact, infinite depth is permanent stagnation. In reality, there is no place even in the reflection of one's own infinite micro-axis, and the willingness to be something. If it is not there, then the Lord Guru Parmarth Bhakti Bhava meditation, faith, love, rule, Maryada tradition, the Guru only to give protection to the Guru by the past, because no one else can do better pretense drama hypocrisy than the Guru. Guru is Vishwaniya word which is they are bigger than the Lord, which has been organized by recognition of the past, whose word is a direct proof, a business is a business. My achievement is with my principles. After eliminating my existence, whatever crows of past millions of the past could not do intelligently, they understood themselves in just a moment, in the dark age of which the Guru was only to serve the interests of selfish interests. It is, they are involved in the race to establish themselves by establishing themselves, in this dark age, in which humanity is also being sapphired by the Guru itself, by those who were expected to keep safe in their hands, when only the floods of the field were. If you are engaged in destroying the field, then the field is to be ruined. From the point of view of intelligence, being intelligent from the intellect, there is never anyone, there is only an illusion, which is arising from the intellect, which with time becomes clear, because the universe becomes clear with time, because the first interest of the universe is nature. The tendency of meditation is present in the memory corpus of the intellect, the illusion of one's own body ends. From this, the ability of the creation nature is reflected in the intellect. Similarly, the spiritual is also born from an intellect. It has been the education rules that have been received along with the tradition of Maryada. The same has been traditionally repeated. It is being regularized in crores of simple, easy people. Faith establishes fanaticism, which is being run by the rules of dignity, under the program organized by the personalities of the past, which my principles completely oppose. Understand yourself without any time, any undertaking with the effort. The devil, the vicious crook, cannot move away from the attitude of the smart artist, can be wiser than intelligence, undoubtedly cannot understand himself. Without understanding himself, he cannot be different from all other species. Every action can be different. Alternatives are affected only by diet, sleep, sexual activity, fear. Guru Shishya rub, all three are victims of the same disease. Mental balance, health, suffering from stress. The disease of the Guru is found in every era. Better priceless empire, fame, reputation, fame with beg, who has been patronized by the personalities of the past in writing. Each book is described in each book. After that, because how can one not come to tell how to tell, when a beggar Guru can be seen by devotees like a crowd of crows, of blind believers, fanatic sheep like a crowd of trillions, the wealth of trillions, fame, reputation, fame, daulat beg at the same time, then only one wish of the disciple was fulfilled after death or not, losing the opportunity to ask or tell the Father. When the disciples gave everything directly, then instead of giving directly to the hypocrites, hypocritical gurus. Why deceit? Deceit? Who dies when you get along with you? Not even. Why all of them are not possible with a living Guru? If it is possible by dying, then why is it not possible to live? Then why is it not possible to survive? Guru is only a business of robbing the disciple. Heaven is hell, by putting fear in the process of pravidha, fear, which is the evil practice run by the vibhutis of the past, which is the evil practice of the past. Only blind faith fanaticism is promoted. Addressing the name of charity, Guru-like clever artists cannot be in the whole creation, who are able to agree to influence crores of people and agree to their intellect in the course of thought. Guru disciples are with two different ideas from the point of view of one intelligence. Guru's disciples are with two different ideas. Inner world clarity hunger is only temporary elements by becoming his creator. The Guru, who is not satisfied with the fulfillment of the wealth of visible trillions of wealth, fame, reputation, fame, wealth, and the disciple's curiosity is limited only to the liberation of the curiosity. Why is there no supply after that? When the Guru is also with him, why is it not possible with the living Guru? Why is it possible by dying? Then why is it not possible to live? Then why is it not possible to survive? The Guru is only a business of robbing the disciple. Hell, the fear of the process of demolition of heaven. The Guru, to the Guru, to the Guru. No one is afraid of fear, not even of death, which is the evil practice being run by the personalities of the past, which only blind faith fanaticism is promoted. By the title of Guru, millions of times higher than the same Lord, fear of Lord and of Guru, word direct proof, argument of argument facts, 10% per anurai, ashram in the whole world, achievement in the whole world, achievement 0, Laksh Amar Lok, Ishta Pam Purush, Shamikaran Kabir Granth Pant, direct 0, main famous statement, the thing which I have is not anywhere else in the universe. Second statement, this is the greatest of all in the universe. Who am I? It cannot be proven. Clear arguments are with facts and principles that humans named human beings are doing all that day and night all the other species are doing food, sleep, sex, always living under fear, temporary elements for temporary elements from birth to death, imposing one's own blind faith on others, who did not understand himself with the precious human body. He was in any period a little different from all other species. So why talk to him? Why should he talk to him? There is a status, when the attitude is real, it is pleasant on the gold, it is in the whole universe. Ever since the whole creation of man has come into existence, till now no one has been born who has understood only himself. Without understanding himself, every living being the undertaking is trying only. It is not a human being. The basis of the whole creation is only the point of view of the intellect. Only the human person has the option that in the point of view of the intellect, by being intelligent from the intellect, by living in the best of all the best, by living in the best of thoughts, by eliminating one's own existence, realizing yourself. Understand the nature from the point of view, or like the past by establishing itself from the point of view of the intellect, forever, the infinite personalities of the past, by being intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of the intellect, did everything, which is still repeating all the millions of times. Everyone's words have become words of words. The book has remained confined to the pages of books. Nothing has happened even throughout the night, which can proudly say, directness. Arguments either impose rules and regulations in the name of facts, or in the name of facts, or else let us give the name of the latter, in the name of proof. It is shown in the texts of the past, which is an easy way to hide crores of shortcomings of my own. If one had understood in the past, today it is not full of fools. Blogs do not have to be done, when every person himself is capable and capable, on the basis of my principles, then how many interests of those who prove incompetent would have been fulfilled, who are running business in the name of Lord Guru Parmart, only simple easy people. By making a blind believer a fanatic, fame, for wealth, by confusing attracted by words like faith, devotion, meditation, which is spreading all over the world in the form of one only kupath, whose sticks are in today's youth. Educated generations are also afflicted. Religion, organizations, millions of times more dangerous than nuclear bombs are proving to be millions of times more dangerous than genes. Realistic attitudes are only a pure clear understanding, which is only a pure clear understanding. Every action, choice, thinking, 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 thinking. The intellect is devoid of contemplation, which is the attitude after eliminating the existence of Prakriti. in which the infinite subtle access has pure clear understanding, which is infinitely subtle in the absolutely permanent state, which is present in every particle of the whole creation, and there is the infinite subtle access, and the infinite subtle access is the whole infinite vast physical creation. The only reason for its existence is the beginning of a realistic approach from the same infinite subtle access in the first stage, which is impossible to understand from the point of view of intelligence, with the ability to establish itself with the body intellect. The attitude of the intellect with the ability to establish itself is possible, which intelligence is made by contemplation, which is based only on the basis of imagination, which has no meaning in the real attitude, from the point of view of intelligence. From the point of view of the intellect, there is no meaning of any meaning of the wise in the reality, which is the surety of the universe. Hugeness pushes towards the ego, which is to be born from the intellect is to be confused in an illusion, which my principles completely contradict, on the basis of my principles. In the infinite universe is moving in the thundering in the entire infinite material creation on the basis of my principles. It is made up of elements, which are regularly influenced and attracted to each other in many dimensions, which are completely in equal gravity. Spiritual science meditation can only seem to be intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of the intellect, because the memory of the coding intelligence of the whole universe is made up of there is virtue in the corpus. The intellect is based on the same law created by the same qualities, the dimensions of the body created by the temporary elements. The explicitness of the body created by the temporary elements is called death. Death is also called death. Death is also the last determined conformation of the body. The dream state of the awakened state, the dream state arising in sleep is also dimension. The entire existence of the first dimension ends, as long as the second dimension appears. Before moving from one dimension to another, the amplitude of slow senses in the dimension itself before moving from one to another. In the beginning and in complete unconsciousness, one finds himself established in the second dimension. The intellect is made up of temporary elements filled with smudges, which no one has understood till date in the whole creation. Understand himself without understanding every human being present in the body. Even though it is not different from all other species, whatever is being done day and night is trying only for life. It is trying enough for life, not even a little different, in any period of time due to which the best human body was found. Not with a negative conscience, it is running from negative conscience. One who is moving towards an infinite vast material creation, not towards his own subtle axis, which is infinitely complex. It is possible to be intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of the intellect. In order to understand oneself, one has to end his own existence, to understand himself for himself. The capable and skillful person himself is the best. Every simple, easy person, after understanding himself, nothing remains to understand in the whole creation. It does not seem that anything has been done and some remain to be done, because it is understood by which the ego one is saved, but till date no one has been deprived of ego, since the creation of human beings has come into existence in the whole creation. Ego is born only when it is intelligent from the will of the will, just as my guru, being intelligent from the intellect from the point of view of intellect, was influenced by the thought stream of his ideal ancestors. Forgetting himself and walking in his rules, it was purely clear to him to follow in his rules and traditions. It was natural to prove himself as the best ideal. To do, one has to prove it by making many actions, which gives birth to a stream of thought based on imagination, which leads to the idea of celibacy, which inspires others to attract influences, a new idea of illusion. It is also so confusing that the number of anure and infinite multiplicity increase in the number of anure and wealth due to the appearance of oneself in every living being, and every living being in oneself is natural, which is used to be used according to the dominance of self-will. the word comes into existence. The reason for the confirmation of dominance in oneself is the consent of devotees, like a crowd of blind believer fanatic sheep, who are clearly influenced by the stream of thought of the same guru, not by the scribble conscience, which is moving from the negative conscience, which is moving towards its own subtlety axis. No. The infinite vast is moving towards the material creation, which is infinitely complex. It is possible to be intelligent from the intellect. From the point of view of intellect, to understand oneself, one has to end his own existence. To understand himself, a capable, skilled person is all the best. Every simple, easy person, after understanding himself, nothing remains to be understood in the whole creation. It does not seem that anything has been done and something has been left to do. Because it is understood, because the important one escapes from the ego. But the ego has not been deprived of ego till today, since the creation of man has come into existence in the whole creation. Being intelligent from the intellect, from the point of view, he was influenced by the thought stream of his ideal ancestors. Forgetting himself and following his rules in the tradition of limiting, it was naturally clear, in order to prove himself as the best ideal, one has to prove himself by making many actions, which is the knowledge of brahmacharya. Science meditation gives rise to imagination based on imagination, which inspires to attract others. A new concept of important illusion is recognized in the memory fund of the intellect, which is important brahmasmi, due to which it is also confused, that it is confusing to itself that in every living being and every living being, due to the appearance of the soul in itself, the number of anuras and the infinite multiplicity increase in wealth are possible, which is used to use the word paramartha, because of the dominance ego to use according to one's own will. The word paramarth comes into existence. The reason for the confirmation of the dominance in oneself is blind believers are the consent of the fanatics of the fanatic sheep, who are clearly influenced by the ideology of the same guru, being confused in the dominance of others. The creator of the fortune teller considers himself capable of deciding the deeds of the deeds, and every word of his own establishes it as a direct proof, which does not need to be seen as logic facts, and the interference of the other is expelled from the ashram dharma, mazhab sangat sanstha forever on charges of violation of the Guru's word, whose crores of blind believers forever, a crowd of staunch supporters as a witness, not in a negative conscience, walking from a negative conscience, which is not towards its own subtle axis, is moving towards infinite vast material creation, which is infinitely complex. From the point of view of intelligence, being intelligent from the intellect is possible. In order to understand oneself, one has to end oneself to understand himself. To understand himself, the capable and the able-bodied ability himself is the best. Every simple, easy person, after understanding himself, nothing remains to be understood in the whole creation. It does not seem that something has been done and some is left to do, because it is understood, from which the ego is saved from ego, but the ego has not been deprived of the ego till today. Till today no one has been deprived of the ego, since the creation of human beings has come into existence. Only the will is the option. The only option is the option. The attitude of the intellect is born only when you are intelligent from the choice of the ego, just like my guru, being intelligent from the point of view of the intellect, was influenced by the thought stream of his ideal ancestors, forgetting himself in his rules and traditions only. Walking was obvious. To prove oneself as the best ideal, one has to prove it by making a lot of determination, which gives birth to the stream of thought based on imagination, which gives birth to the idea of celibacy, science, which inspires to attract others, a new concept of illusion, recognition of the intellect present in the corpus, which are important brahmasmi. Realistic attitudes are just a pure clear understanding, which is devoid of every action, choice, thinking, contemplation, which is after the end of the existence of the intellect, nature. in which that infinite subtle access have pure clear understanding, which is infinitely subtle in the depth of absolutely permanent stay. In every particle of the universe, and there are infinite subtle access, the only reason for the existence of the entire infinite vast material creation is the beginning of the real vision in the first step from the same infinite subtle access, which is impossible to understand from the point of view of the intellect, the ability to establish itself with the body intellect. With the attitude of the intellect is natural, which makes it possible to make it appear intelligent by contemplation, which is based only on the basis of imagination, which has no meaning in the real attitude, from the point of view of the intellect, from the point of view of the intellect to the visor from the intellect. In reality, there is no meaning, which ensures that the vastness of the intellect of creation, the vastness of the nature, pushes towards the ego, which is born from the intellect as only to be confused in an illusion, which my principles completely contradict, on the basis of my principles. But in the entire infinite vast material creation, the infinite universe is moving in the thunder, which is made up of temporary elements, which are regularly influenced and attracted by each other in many dimensions, which are completely in the same gravity. Spiritual science, meditation, from the point of view of intelligence only from the point of view of the intellect. One can seem to be intelligent, because the memory of the coding intelligence of the whole creation is present in the corpus, the intellect of creation.